All right, so for this last example, it says, as part of class day, the eighth grade is doing a treasure hunt. Each team is given the following riddle and map. At what point is the treasure located? There's a pirate's treasure to be found, so search on the island all around. That's the riddle. Draw a line through A to B, and then another through C to D. Dance a jig. X marks the spot. Where do the lines intersect, and what's the treasure's plot? So what they want us to do is basically what we've been doing. You have two lines, and we're gonna. This is where the treasure is, right? So now, how do we figure out what the treasure is? Well, there's points. Well, the first thing that we need to do is figure out the coordinate points for A, B, C, and D. So A is -2, comma, -1. That's the point A. D is we go over 1 and down 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is +1 for my X value and -4 for my Y. Remember, Mr. Adams is doing X comma Y. C is -1 in the X direction and up 1, 2, 3, 4. So C is -1, comma, +4. Again, we're doing X comma Y. How far do we move from the origin in the X direction? Remember, if we go to the right from the origin, it's positive. If we go to the left, it's negative. If we go up, right, going up is positive, and then going down is negative. Okay. B, to get from the origin, how far do I go over this way? 2. How many do I go up this way? 5.
5, yeah.
All right. So then look at this. Yep. These are all the points. That's what I figured out. So now we've got to find the slopes between A and B. So this is the slope between A and B, and this is the slope between C and D. So it looks like they made this X sub 1, Y sub 1, X sub 2, Y sub 2. And you don't have to write this down. This is in your book. And they use the formula Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1 all over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. Same thing here. This is X sub 1, Y sub 1. And this is X sub 2, Y sub 2. So the slope from A to B is +3/2, and the slope from C to D is -4. Now, how could I double check that? Easy. If this is a +3/2, to get from here to here, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go over 1, 2. Am I still on the graph? Yep. If I go up 3 and over 2, am I on that graph? Yep. So now the other slope was -4. Let's see if that's true. So if I start here at C and I go down 4 and over 1, I'm on the graph. If I go down 4 and over 1, I'm on the graph. Down 4 and over 1, I'm on the graph. So the slopes are correct. So now we need to find the y-intercepts. Well, A and B, to find the y-intercept mathematically, we could look. It looks like it crosses at 2, but we should do the math. We know that the point 2, 5 exists, right? That's this point here. That's an x value, and that's a y value. So when we think of terms of y equals mx plus b, and if you plug in your y value, which is 5, is equal to the slope, which is 3/2, times the x value, which is 2, plus b, you get the 2's cancel, and you get 5 equals 3 plus b. Subtract 3 from both sides, and you get 2 is equal to b. So that's all the math they did to get this. So if the slope is equal to 3/2, which is on the other screen, and the y-intercept is equal to 2, when I plug that back into y equals mx plus b, I'm going to get this equation. Now, if I go through that process for C and D, I get the equation y equals negative 4x because b is equal to 0. Now, I can solve this because they're both equal to y, so by setting them equal to each other, I get that the x-intercept occurs at negative 4 over 11. Lastly, I plug that into either equation. They plugged it into this one, and I get that y equals 16 over 11. So this point over here is negative 11, or I'm sorry, is negative 4 over 11, comma, positive 16 over 11. So this whole thing right here is this right here. Does that make sense? Oh, I got to put the negative in there. And that's it for that. Okay?